Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we're reading from Canto 11, chapter 12 and texts 10 and 11. Okay, there it is. Ramena Sardham Mathuram Pranite. Shwafalkina Mai Anurakta Chittaha. Vigada Bhavena Name Viyoga. Tivradhayo Anyam Dadrashuhu Sukhaya.
Ramena Sardham Mathuram Pranite. Swapalkina Mai Anurakta Chitta. Vigada Bhavena Name Viyoga. Vadayo Nyam Tatrushu Sukhaya.
Sukhaya.
Ramena Sardham Mathuram Pranite. Swapalkina Mai Anurakta Chitta.
Vinamai Anurakta Chittaha.
Vigada Bhavena Name Viyoga.
Vigada Bhavena Name Viyoga.
Nam Datisho Sukhaya. Ramena Sardham Mathuram Pranite. Swapalkina Mai Anurakta Chitta.
Sardham Mathuram Pranite. Swapalkina Mai Anurakta Chitta. Vigada Bhavena Name Viyoga. Tivradhayo Nyam Dadrashu Sukhaya.
Anybody else? Mataji. Yeah.
Ramena Sardham Mathuram Pranite. Swapalkina Mai Anurakta Chitta. Vigada Bhavena Name Viyoga. Tivradhayo Nyam Dadrashu Sukhaya.
Okay, so word to word meaning. Ramena with Balram. Sardham with Mathuram to the city of Mathura. Pranite when brought. Shwafalkina by accrued. Myself. Anurakta constantly attached. Chittaha those whose consciousness was. Vigada extremely deep. Bhavena by love. Not me than me. Viyoga, of separation. Tivra, intense. Adhayah, who were experiencing mental distress, anxiety. Anyam, other. Dadrashuhu, they saw. Sukhaya, that could make them happy. Translation purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The residents of Vrindavan, headed by the gopis, were always completely attached to me with deepest love. Therefore, when my uncle Akrur brought my brother Balram and me to the city of Mathura, the residents of Vrindavan suffered extreme mental distress because of separation from me and could not find any other source of happiness. Purport. This verse especially describes the sentiments of the cowherd girls of Vrindavan, the gopis, and Lord Krishna here reveals the incomparable love they felt for him. As explained in the 10th canto, Lord Krishna's uncle Akrur, sent by Kamsa, came to Vrindavan and took Krishna and Balaram back to Mathura for a wrestling event. The gopis loved Lord Krishna so much that in his absence their consciousness was completely absorbed in spiritual love. Thus their Krishna consciousness is considered the highest perfectional stage of life. They were always expecting that Lord Krishna would finish his business of killing demons and return to them, and therefore their anxiety was an extremely moving, heart-rending display of love. Anyone desiring true happiness must take to the devotional service of the Lord in the spirit of the gopis, giving up everything for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. I don't know, I had to read the next verse also, but I don't know why, but we don't?
You don't have.
We don't have, okay, fine. So I'll just do this. Okay. So, yeah, I'll start. Om Ajnanaatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurvani Prachari Nirvisheshunyavadi Pachati. This verse is spoken by Lord Krishna to Uddhav, as 11th canto is all spoken by Lord Krishna. 11th canto is also known as Uddhav Gita. And Krishna in this chapter is giving his conclusion to Uddhav that his devotion far surpasses renunciation and knowledge, which is the chapter's name, Beyond Renunciation and Knowledge. Now, Srimad Bhagavatam is like a spiritual window to all of us. And Srimad Bhagavatam helps us to understand, if we are to analyze it, how Krishna thinks, how his devotees think. And that is one of the meaning of Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada, I was mentioning the other day, Prabhupada mentions in one of his lecture, Krishna consciousness means to think about Krishna, always. That we all know. But Krishna consciousness also means to think how Krishna thinks. How Krishna is conscious about all of us. And that is more important than how we think about him. How he thinks about us. Just like we all are here in this temple, Krishna is thinking about us, all of us. Not just what we did, what we are going to do today, but what we did yesterday. So when Krishna speaks in Srimad Bhagavatam, he is thinking something. And that's what we have to figure out. And that's why Krishna says, Janma karma chame divyam evam yovetti tatvatha. Anybody who understands my birth and my pastimes, vetti tatvata. Tatvata means in essence. Veti means understand. He can get liberation. Now, what does Krishna mean? What does he mean when he says anybody who understands my birth and my pastimes? The idea is he is saying you should understand how I think and how devotees think, and try to actually imbibe those thoughts, and then you can come back to me. Simple. We can go back to Krishna and his word, Golok, if we know exactly how to interact with him and his devotees. Otherwise, if we don't understand that, then we'll simply create a chaos there. We'll create a mess up. We'll create mess there. The fact we are not going back to him now, it might mean that we don't really understand him. So more than his form, beauty, and pastimes are his thoughts. And that's what we say. That's what Krishna says. My devotees are in my heart, and I am the heart of my devotees. He means that he understands my heart. So Krishna is speaking something here. And it helps us to understand his personality. And that's what we all relish, to understand his personality. Krishna says, there's no verse here. Krishna says, Ramena Sardham Mathuram Pranite. Now Krishna says to Uddhav, Ramena Sardham. Ramena means Balram. He says, Uddhav, you see, when Akrur came to meet us and actually inform us, to invite us to come serve, he invited Ramena. He speaks about Balram. He doesn't speak about himself now. There's no Krishna there. He invited Ram and me. Sardham means with me. Sardham, Ramena. He doesn't speak, Akrur invited me and Balram. No. Balram and me. And this shows his beautiful qualities, which Prabhupada in fact mentions in Nectar of Devotion, which is our law book. One of the qualities of Krishna is he is very shy. That is especially for Krishna, not for Vishnu. And he is shy. And especially when he is in Vrindavan. And that Prabhupada mentions there, he is gentle. He is gentle. In Vrindavan, he likes to be shy. And Prabhupada gives the example of Govardhan in that Nectar of Devotion. That when Krishna is lifting Govardhan in his left hand, he is exhibiting his power. But at the same time, his mind is not there in his power. He doesn't care about his power in Vrindavan. He cares about sweetness. That is Vrindavan. And when he's lifting Vrindavan, he doesn't care about Indra. He can handle him. No problem. He doesn't care about all these rains. What he cares is how gopis and how all Brajvasis are perceiving him. That's what he cares for. And he is actually watching gopis. Prabhupada mentions the example. And Balram notices Krishna, and Krishna becomes shy. Krishna notices Balram, that he is actually seeing gopis. So that is what Krishna is. Krishna is very shy. Krishna doesn't want to actually... Krishna follows his friends when they play. He's not in the lead. Sometimes he's in the lead when boys want to catch Krishna, but he's in the back and he follows them. So that is because of his shyness. He doesn't mention his name. He mentions Balram. Okay, fine. And that happens in Srimad Bhagavatam. We know in 10th canto when Krishna goes with Balram to a tour of Vrindavan, then Krishna glorifies Balram as if everybody is worshipping Balram, but actually he indirectly means to say that people are worshipping him. That's in Krishna book, Srila Prabhupada mentions. So one of the qualities, he is shy and gentle. And another quality we can understand by this is Ramena Sardham. He is very respectful. Prabhupada mentions this. Actually, these three qualities are together. Gentle, respectful, and shy. If you read Nectar of Devotion properly. So, he is very respectful. He knows how to respect, when to respect, and whom to respect. Prabhupada gives example that when he went to Ratsi Yagya, he first respected spiritual masters, his spiritual master, and then he respected elders, and then Yudhishthira Maharaj, and then Nakul Sahadev, like that in order. So, Yat Yogeshwaro Krishna, Yatra Partho Dhanurdhara, Tatra Shri Vijayor Bhute Dhruva Nitir Matir Mama. Wherever there is Krishna, there is Niti. Niti actually it means politics. Prabhupada translates as politics. But it's not in a bad sense. We have a Shastra, Niti Shastra. And that helps us to understand how do we interact with this material world, the system of social behavior. That's Niti Shastra. So he says, Ramena Sardham, this is Krishna. Mathuram Pranite. And he says, when Akrura was calling us to Mathura, something happened. When we went to Mathura, leaving Vrindavan, something happened. And what happened was that changed the entire course of our history. And what happened was, Anyam Dadrishu Sukhaya. The love of gopis was visible to this material world. So it is said, when Krishna and his devotees are together, you can see the love, but you can't really, that love is not so much to actually drown everybody to see. When Krishna and devotees separate, then the devotees' love rises, and you can see that. And that happens in Ram Leela also. When Ram leaves Ayodhya, Bharat, we all know, we have gone to Chitrakoot. Bharat goes to Chitrakoot and his love expresses to such a degree that even stones melted. That's Bharat's love. Bharat's love in Ramayana is equated to Radha's love in Krishna Leela. That's how it goes. So Dadrishu Sukhaya. When Krishna left Vrindavan, gopis, Prabhupada disciples, in the translation it writes, could not find any other source of happiness. Now this is the point. Krishna wanted to show this material world what is love of gopis. People misunderstood their love. Some people couldn't understand. Some people misunderstood. Some people misinterpreted. But Krishna wanted to show, okay, this is love. And Krishna himself is mentioning what is the essence of their love. And Krishna says, Anyam Dadrishu Sukhaya. Now this small statement, it's very important. In Prabhupada says, this is the spirit of gopis. This is their secret. What is the difference between them and us? Now this secret they have in their heart. Anyam Dadrishu Sukhaya. Now this word Dadrishu is important in Sanskrit. Drishu means to see. And Dadrishu means trying to see, desiring to see. A lot of desire to see. Now Krishna says they couldn't find any source of happiness, although they were trying to find. Now this is the catch here. Prabhupada in one of his lectures in Radha Ashtami, on Radha Ashtami in Montreal, I think 1960 or something. So Prabhupada says there that gopis' love is so high that they are so absorbed in Krishna that they pray that they should forget him. Now that's what Prabhupada says there. This is interesting. They pray to God, Narayan. They're praying to God, please help us forget Krishna, because we cannot do our daily duties. That is their love. We pray, Krishna, please help us remember you. They are praying, please help us to forget you. This is very different. That is why they are they and we are we. And we're supposed to follow them at least 0.0001%, whatever it is. But that is the Drishu. When Krishna goes, they are so unhappy that they cannot do anything. They are paralyzed. And so they think, my God, we are paralyzed, we can't do anything. So let us try to forget him. They are trying to find happiness in this material world, but they cannot. They want happiness so that we should just be absorbed in the happiness of this material world, but we cannot. This is gopis. This is what last line of the purport mentions, giving up everything for the pleasure of Supreme Lord. This is their secret. With Narad Bhakti Sutra, Prabhupada writes, Tat Sukhitva Sukham. That is devotion. This is what is devotion all about. Finding happiness in the happiness of Krishna. This is we have to practice. Devotion is not stopping happiness. No. Prabhupada says You can enjoy, but you have to enjoy in the enjoyment of Lord. That is devotion. So, they gave up everything. They even gave up the sense of their happiness. The happiness which they felt in devotion, they were not even interested in that. This is gopis. And that is the ultimate, that is our goal. Sometimes we feel happiness in devotion, but we are not here to enjoy that happiness. We'll get involved in that. We'll forget our aim. Our aim is to fulfill Krishna's will, His desire. To fulfill His desire, Krishna gives us happiness of devotion so that we want to fulfill His will. That's why it is said, Mahaprabhu says, Krishna Prem Pumartham Mahan. The goal of our life is love. But why do we want love? For love? No. We don't want love for love. That is sentimental. That is not Gaudiya Vaishnavism. We want love to serve. That is why our idea. Without love we cannot serve Krishna 24 hours. And we want to do, but we cannot. Just like a mother loves a child. How can a mother serve her child 24 hours? She wakes up in the night. She does her duty in the day. She can't sleep. Nevertheless, she is happy. How can she do that? Because she loves. So we want love for service, not love for love. That is their secret. Anyam dadrishu sukhaya. Krishna artha akila cheshta. That's what Prabhupada mentions there. Give up everything. And that is in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Prabhupada mentions devotees do not have scent of happiness. Gandh, Vishaya Gandh, that's the word used. Gopis do not have a scent of happiness, their own happiness. Now what do we mean by scent? S-C-E-N-T, that's scent. Prabhupada writes, they don't have even a scent of happiness. Now if you want to remember the meaning of this, scent, what do you mean by that? We can understand, scent means consent. Now, you know what? There's a famous saying by one of the saints. Sin is not action. Sin is consent. Now, if we try to understand that, it means something to all of us. It's not action per se. It is a consent we give in our soul to wrong things, what we are about to do. We might not do wrong thing. We might not do wrong action, but if we consent to that sin, to the wrong thought, we implicate it. Like, you know what? We all, Srimad Bhagavatam says, in Kali Yuga, it's not sin to think wrong. We all know that, no? Bad thoughts, if they come, it's not sin. We all know. But that's not an excuse. There's a loophole in that. Loophole is that bad thoughts can come, excuse, Krishna says, no problem. I know you are habituated to thinking bad. You can't stop that. Okay, excused. But we should not give consent to those bad thoughts. We are not here to entertain them. If we start entertaining them, then we get implicated in 10th offense. What's the 10th offense? Shrutva api naam mahatmya me priti rahito dhamma. Even after hearing so much about the subject matter, still being attached to material enjoyment. Now that's what is gopis. Gopis never give consent in their soul about anything unrelated to Krishna. But we do. We can do. At least I do. And we have to be true to ourselves. That's why Prabhupada said, nobody can give you certificate in Krishna consciousness. No one. We are here to judge ourselves. And we know what's happening inside us. It's very nice to make big temples, and Prabhupada wanted. It's very nice to do big distribution. We should do big distribution and make temples with full enthusiasm. But along with that, we should make a temple in a heart. Now this temple inspires us to make a temple in a heart. This altar inspires us to make our heart as altar. That Bhaktivedanta Thakur song, Mama Mana Mandire, Raho Nishi Deva. Please, my Lord, stay in the temple of my heart day and night. We have to make a staircase in our heart so that we can walk. And that staircase has 9 steps, we all know. As Prabhupada mentions, Adav Shraddha Tatha Sadhu Sangatha Bhajana Priya, and on the top is love. So that's what we have to be working on, outside and inside. That is gopis. They worked outside, inside, both. So Anyam Dadrishu Sukhaya, that is the secret. That is why one of the meaning of gopi is Gopniya. Gopniya means secret. Gopi means secret. They have this secret. That's what Prabhupada says. Gopis are not ordinary girls. They are all special to us. They are worshipable. But you know what? To understand them, it's not enough to actually glorify them. Just like Radha Ashtami, we say Radhe, Radhe, and okay, nice. But it's not enough to do that. To understand somebody, you have to become like them. Otherwise, you can't understand. That's why Krishna says, that's a philosophy. We are not here, in quantity we are different from Krishna, but in quality we are same. That's we have to realize. So to understand gopis' love, we have to become like them, not in quantity, but in quality. Absolutely pure. Absolutely devoid of any kind of happiness, selfish happiness for us. Absolutely devoid of all kind of material enjoyment. We have to work on that. We all know it's very difficult. Initially, when we join, it looked easy. But as we advance, it's very difficult. And when we find it so difficult to come to this standard, then we appreciate their service. So it's like that. See, who can appreciate devotees? Devotees. Materialists cannot. Because they are doing devotion. Who can appreciate sannyasis? Brahmacharis. Because they are following the same path. Similarly, who can appreciate gopis? Who are following their path, who are like them, who are trying to do what they are doing according to our own capacity, according to our adhikar. Dadrishu, Anyam Dadrishu Sukhaya. Now Krishna says, next point, the question comes here is, how have gopis become like that? So difficult. To leave our own happiness, even in devotion, it's almost impossible. Have they become like that? Krishna mentions Viyoga Tivra Adhaya. It's there. It's not there. Viyoga Tivra Adhaya. How? Because they feel separation from him. Now this word Viyog, it's not there. Okay, yes. Viyoga Tivra Adhaya. This word Viyog in the last line, how have they become like that? How have they become so pure, without selfish desire, without selfish happiness? Viyog means separation. The meaning is separation. But if you really break this word, yog means union, and viyog means absence of union. And this purport says that gopis love Krishna so much that his absence, that is what is gopis. How can gopis leave all happiness? Because they feel his absence. And this is what Prabhupada says in a small book, Elevation to Krishna Consciousness. Prabhupada's small books are not small, by the way. They are not small. We can spend a whole lifetime to understand them. So in fact, Prabhupada's small books are special. Prabhupada different books have different flavors, just like different devotees have different flavors. Prabhupada's small books give his practical realizations. Prabhupada, big books, Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita, they are more focused on philosophy and the point, systematic. But small books, Prabhupada is speaking, and when person speaks, he speaks out his realizations. We all know, when I'm writing, I'm a writer. When I write, I think and write. I write philosophical points, but when I speak, I try to speak realizations, share realizations. So Prabhupada says in Elevation to Krishna Consciousness that the method of worship of gopis is the highest, and that is love in separation. So how can gopis achieve to such a high platform? By feeling his absence. Now this is more clear than feeling separation. We can say we feel separation, but it's not so clear. when we say feel separation. Okay, what do you feel separation? You go to garden and ask trees, where is Krishna? No. Feeling his absence, that's more important. While doing service, we should feel his absence. Prabhupada says in one of his lectures, while you are serving Krishna, feel his absence. Not exactly, I'm not paraphrasing the statement, but it's there. So, that is what is our method of worshipping Krishna. Ramya kashit upasana vrajavadu vargena ya kalpita. That's Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes. Prabhupada quotes this verse so many times in his lectures, conversations, in his books. This is very important verse for all of us. And this verse means that our method is Ramya kashit upasana. The method shown by gopis, that we follow. Vrajavadu vargena. This is the method. Feel his absence. So, when we come to temple, he's there with us. But when we're outside temple, there's ample opportunity to feel his absence in this material world. No? In fact, to feel his absence is more easy to feel his presence. He's not there. He is there in form of super soul, but personally he is not there. So, that feeling gopis cultivated in their heart. In fact, we see Prabhupada, one reporter came and Prabhupada's picture mostly is like this. Prabhupada is not like this. No, never. He's like, Prabhupada is like this. Reporter asked Prabhupada, why are you so sad? Always. Prabhupada said, you don't understand what is happiness. He said like that. So, Prabhupada says there is happiness in the sadness. So that is what is secret of gopis coming from, feeling his absence. But to feel absence of Krishna is not easy. Prabhupada says in one of his lectures, if you want to feel his separation, you have to be attached to him. There is no question of separation without attachment. This is a statement by Prabhupada. So how do we feel absence? But you know what? Here the word used is tivrena. Vyoga tivradhayo. Tivra means intense separation. Now what do we mean by intense separation? Now, how do we quantify intensity? Intense separation, okay. We can say become sincere in devotion, but what do you mean by sincere? Okay, I am sincere. I am a full-time devotee. Now what should I do? More than that. Now, okay, fine. I can cut my sleep. I can cut my food. I am serving 24 hours and yet you say be sincere. Now what to do? We all face this problem. What to do now? So here intensity means actually gopis' feeling of separation do not get destroyed even when they are surrounded by material objects. Our does. In temple it's easy to remember Krishna, but when we go out, when we see so many things in this material world, we hear, we perceive, it affects us. We forget. Our thought, our absorption goes down. It might also vanish sometimes. We are so deviated and taken up by illusion. But it doesn't happen with gopis. That's the intensity. The intensity can penetrate the enjoyment of this material world. They don't get affected by all this. This is Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada was like that. Prabhupada is true servant of gopis. Prabhupada's godbrother didn't like to. There were arguments. But Srila Prabhupada, actually who understood Radha? Prabhupada. Nobody else. He actually really understood gopi. He was in gopi bhav. People like to say go to Vrindavan. They are in gopi bhav. We know ISKCON history, gopi bhav club, and so many things happen. But actually he is in gopi bhav. He has understood the secret. He was feeling separation from Vrindavan, from his spiritual master. He often said, and that is gopi bhav. That's all. So tivra adhayo, that's kind of intensity, but it's very difficult to get that. Rupa Goswami says, if you get a desire to attain Krishna, buy it. So, Janma koti sukrutyapi lagyate. Buy it. Buy it. There's no shop, but if you find a shop and if you find somebody, buy it. But if in exchange they ask you, give your head, give it, cut it and give. Just give your life. Because It's not easy. Krishna mentions this in Bhagavad Gita, 10th chapter, 9th verse. What's that verse? Mamechhaptam dhananjaya. I'm just forgetting. Krishna says, if you cannot fix your... What's that verse? Atha chitta samadhatum na shaknoshi mai sthiram abhyasena tu kaunteya mamechhaptam dhananjaya. Krishna says, if you cannot fix your mind on me, follow regulations. And what should be a goal of following regulations? The desire to attain me. Desire to attain me is, the symptom of desire to attain Krishna is feeling his absence. So the gopis are there. But the question is, Krishna is answering. Okay, Uddhav asked Krishna, well, if I like to just put some discussions there. Uddhav asked, okay, fine, Krishna, now how did gopis achieve that platform? Meditation, yoga, philosophy. Krishna says, no. Krishna has already refuted that in previous verse. That by penances, charity, vows, ritualism, sacrifices, teaching of Vedic mantras, you can't achieve this platform. Then how did they do that? What happened? Even Brahma and Shiva, they are coming and praising them. Even Krishna is taking the dust of the lotus feet. What happened? So Krishna is mentioning. What happened? Vigada bhavena. That's what he mentions. Vigada bhavena means that because of extreme deep love for me, because of that they have come to this platform. But what do you mean by that? Deep love. Now, this bhav means emotions, vigada means deep emotions. Now Prabhupada says in Nectar of Devotion, that is 1.4.1. Prabhupada doesn't divide Nectar of Devotion like that. I guess it is some 4th, 5th chapter somewhere. Prabhupada says the definition of love. And what is love? Deep love. Gopis have deep love. But what is love? Love is Hirdi Chitta Mahatsneya Mamta Atishayankita Bhava Eva Sangranatma Buddhai Prema Nigatyate. That's the Sanskrit. And Prabhupada says love is characterized by possession, by possessiveness. That's what gopis have in their heart. Possessiveness. Ami to tumar, tumi to amar. Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes, I am yours and you are mine. Mamta atishayankita. They think Krishna is theirs. For them, they are even not theirs. Ami to amar nahi. Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes. They have reached to such a level of possessiveness that for them, even they themselves do not possess to them. And Prabhupada, actually next purport says here, their consciousness was intensely attached to Lord Krishna. By such Krishna consciousness, their own bodies seemed very far away from them. Even though people normally consider their own existence as important. And their own body to be the closest possession. Chaitanya Charitamrita says, Krishna Smriti Jahar, Deha Smriti Nahiyar. If your mind is absorbed in Krishna consciousness, we'll forget bodily consciousness. In fact, that is called as trance. Some people go in trance like that. Sufis and all, they don't feel pain. Prabhupada was like that. Prabhupada had that, when Prabhupada was in America, he had that spinal, what do you say? Spinal fluid extraction for that when he had meningitis. So, Prabhupada, they didn't know. It's written there. I think it's written in Neelamri. So Prabhupada says there that, so I think disciples asked them, in fact in meningitis you have to do that test. That's compulsory. So they diagnosed meningitis. Okay. So then they asked Prabhupada, what did you, I think I read in one of the memories of some. So Prabhupada, how did you feel pain or something? Prabhupada said, no, you have to tolerate. That's all. And I think when Prabhupada also had an operation, and doctors were amazed that happened. And then Prabhupada had some operation and doctors were amazed that he was not feeling pain. That's Srila Prabhupada. He was, in fact, he had a heart attack, 2 heart attacks, but these people are, Prabhupada Acharyas, they are beyond the bodily consciousness, and that is vigada bhavena. That gopis feel, Krishna is mine and we belong to Krishna. And that possessiveness, that is the starting of love. But the question is again, Uddhava asked, okay fine, how do we get that possessiveness? How do I feel Krishna is mine and I am Krishna? How do I feel that I am not mine? I don't belong to myself. How do we do that? It's difficult now. I am I and I belong to myself. But to get above this feeling, I don't belong to myself, how to do that? So Krishna answers there. Anurakta chitta. We are going back. Anurakta chitta. Krishna says that how they have achieved to this consciousness of belonging to me, that they're constantly attached to me. Now that's okay, fine. They are constantly attached. Now, what do we mean by that? This is the foundation of Gopi Bhav. Constantly attached to Krishna. But what do we mean by that attachment? We have to give some explanation. Otherwise, it will look like sentimentalism. Constantly attached means constantly attached to the service of Lord. Not attached to service of our own plans or whatever. So that is the meaning of attachment. Attachment to service. In fact, Gaudiya Vaishnavism, our ISKCON, our parampara, it teaches we attach to service more than Krishna. That's what our teaching is. That is why we say we attach to people in Vrindavan, they say Radha. Radha is more important than Krishna, we all know. Why? Because she is embodiment of mercy. To serve Krishna, we can even leave Krishna. That is our philosophy. And people did that. To serve Vrindavan, Prabhupada left Vrindavan. He left. People were asking, why are you leaving Vrindavan? Prabhupada said, well, I am here to serve it, not to enjoy it. I am here to not stay in Vrindavan, but distribute it. Nityanand Prabhu, he left Mahaprabhu, went to Bengal to preach. He left Mahaprabhu. Rupa Goswami, all Goswamis left. To serve Krishna, we can leave Krishna. And it's same with Krishna. Krishna, to serve his devotees, he can leave his devotees. So he left Vrindavan, he left his devotees, Brajvasis. Why? To serve them better. Because when you are away from your devotees, their love gets nourished. Their love grows. So that is Anurakta Chitta. Attachment to serve him. This is devotion. We all attach to his service. First, it is said, when love is presented as lust, Krishna likes. But when lust is presented as love, Krishna is very expert to understand that. He is, what do we say? Kala, was that word used? Kala. He is expert. He can really understand whether it's love or it's lust. Whether we are attached to his service or whether we are attached to our own plans or our own attachment. It's difficult to have that discrimination sometimes. So that is the foundation of Gopi Bhav, which Krishna is mentioning to Uddhav, Anurakta Chitta. And Krishna is helping us to understand, don't just speak Radha, live up to your words. We are here to live how she lived, how they lived. We are not here to just speak about, just like we say Jai Srila Prabhupada. Okay, it's nice, Krishna likes. But Prabhupada says, do as I am doing. That will glorify him much more than if we just only speaking doesn't really help. That's why Krishna likes actions more than words. Prabhupada said, do something. No. And it's a very important line, although it's just two words, do something. When I read first, I thought, what is this, do something? When I was new in Krishna Consciousness, do something. Meditate on something. I used to think like that. But then, we all know, Prabhupada's statements are very deep. Very deep. Although they look on outside, they look very, very simple. Okay, Prabhupada books, In fact, many people like to say Prabhupada books are simple. But no, they are very deep. In fact, Srila Prabhupada books are so special that you see word-to-word translation here. This is not, but if you see word-to-word translation of Srila Prabhupada, he gives a very different kind of meanings of those words. Although if we say Bhagavad Gita as it is as it is, but when scholars come and read it, they say it's not as it is. Come on, this word is something Sanskrit and you are giving meaning something else. But they're fools actually. They're fools because there are two systems of translation in Sanskrit. One is Padvachak and one is Bhavvachak. In other words, you can translate the meaning of the word literally, or you can translate the meaning of the word according to the intention of that word. Connotation, denotations, Prabhupada did that according to Parampara. And best example I can give is Prabhupada in Bhagavad Gita, 10 chapter 9th verse. The famous verse, Mat Chit Mat Kata Prana Bodhanta Parasparam. What's that? Patente Samam Nityam Tushyanti Ramanti. Now Prabhupada says, okay, Tushyanti means satisfied and Ramanti means pleasure. Okay, that is word-to-word meaning. But then in purport, Prabhupada says that devotee first finds satisfaction or pleasure in the service of Krishna. You see how he changes in the purport? He changes. Now in Nectar of Instruction, Prabhupada says, Prabhupada translates Buddhi Yoga as Bhakti Yoga. How do you do with that? And literally what's happening. But then Prabhupada explains why he does that. But Prabhupada says real intelligence is to understand that you should keep your intelligence aside and serve him. First serve him, right? Don't try to understand infinite. You'll not be able to do that. Real intelligence is to love him. That's all. You are so intelligent, if you don't love Krishna, it's all purpose. So that's why Prabhupada translates Buddhi Yoga as Bhakti Yoga. He changes the meaning, but that is true meaning of that word, true intention. So Prabhupada books are in that sense very important. Prabhupada books can help us to understand Gopi Bhav, this gopis. And you see that Prabhupada, all books are special. And there are different flavors I was telling. Small books will help us understand what are practical realizations of Prabhupada. Big books will help you to understand philosophy. They help us understand everything but focus. Letters of Prabhupada, they help us understand, they give us fire of preaching. That's why I like to say, don't read Prabhupada letters on 4th floor. You'll jump out of window and get some fracture. You'll go in streets, preach, We all know Prabhupada, one of his letter he writes, I forgot the exact date. Prabhupada writes to one of his senior disciple, not senior disciple, but old. By age he was old, and he writes to him that now that you have become very old and your daughters are married, that means you should be a pretty aged person. Now you become old and your daughters are married. Now you should blank, blank, blank. He was expecting I should go to Vrindavan and chant. Prabhupada said, now you should go all around the world and preach Krishna Consciousness. It's funny. I read that, my God, what's happening? He would have read and he would have got shock of his life. That is letters. Letters give you fire of preaching. And morning walks can help you understand how to preach. Prabhupada is discussing rascal and this and that, scientist and this and that. He just questions, answers. Room conversations will help us to understand how to actually defeat somebody. Morning walks also, more room conversations also. Room conversations also give us a different kind of idea of management and other things. Prabhupada is asking so many things. So, Prabhupada books have everything. But you have to read everything in Prabhupada books. That's very important. When you read everything in Prabhupada books, then we get a key to unlock the mood of gopis. Otherwise, it's impossible. I read so many commentaries, but after that, I found that Prabhupada had done homework for us. He did everything. We simply have to read his books. And you know what? Sometimes Prabhupada mentions some statement which he doesn't repeat. That is why you have to read all books of Prabhupada, and we all do that. We also have to help others understand the importance of Srila Prabhupada books. And one statement he writes in one of his letters, and that statement I never found anywhere. And that was, service is reward of service. Now, if you go to Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya and if you make this statement, they will become unconscious. Seriously, that's the whole philosophy. Service is reward of service. We can serve Krishna millions of lives, and then Krishna comes and then he says, okay, now I give you something. Krishna, I'm ready. Okay, go and distribute khichdi. And what is this? This is service is reward of service. That's what Prabhupada says there in one statement. That's summation of Sri Sampradaya. So Prabhupada gives everything in his books. But we have to take that out and help others to appreciate that. But for that we have to read all books. And especially Prabhupada gives us a foundation to reach this platform, what Krishna helps us to understand, to be attached to his service, which will lead to possessiveness. That attachment to his service will then expand and we'll become attached to Krishna. Prabhupada writes, when we become attached to Krishna, then we'll start feeling his absence. And when we'll start feeling his absence, then we'll lose interest in everything. We'll even lose interest in ourselves. We'll start hating ourselves. The day we start hating ourselves, that's the day we are approaching perfection. Our own nonsense, desires or whatever. That is what is love of gopis. They like Krishna more than themselves. So, Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you very much. Any comments, any suggestions, any questions? Yes, sir.
Prabhu, I was thinking while you were promoting the service, value of service, that we need prem to continue the service forever eternally. Very nice way you presented. So I was thinking like maybe Napare Iham Nirvadha Samajja. That's also actually the glory of the gopis is actually the service displayed in separation. Probably can be added.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. So
now I have one clarification I need. You said something about that Bharat's love, similar to the gopis or Radha.
Yeah.
But then I remember that long time back I read this commentary of our acharyas. In the forest when King Janaka was elected as a judge, to have whether Bharat is right or Ram is right, whether Bharat intention to take Ram back to Ayodhya, and Lord Ram wants to follow his father's instruction. So they could not come to a solution, so they elected King Janaka to be the judge. He's impartial. And I remember, I'm trying to make it short so I can finish it, where King Janaka actually said, the Bharat, your love is so beautiful and nicely expressed. It's like an amount of a big mountain. But sometimes the big mountain can be seen as shrinking in a vast ocean, like compared to Ram's love. That is very nice what you have done, what you have displayed. You brought all the Ayodhya to express that Ram has to come back. And he actually did the campaign night before, went to his personal Vashishta, Mother Karshala. So, in that discussion, if I recall, that King Janaka says that, did it ever occur to you that the definition of pure love is that one has to be very careful and attentive to the desire of the beloved? You want to give up your life, you told Satrugna to build a fire, and you will give up your life to display or show that your love for Ram is unparalleled. But did it ever occur whether it will please Ram or not? So Bharat took back and he thought, no, I did not ever ask Ram whether my activity is actually pleasing him or not. So then King Janaka, he hammered that point.
No, Bharat said this to himself, whether it was...
No, King Janaka...
Yeah, he probably didn't say this,
No, King Janaka was saying, gave the definition of love.
Yeah.
So he asked Bharat if it ever occurred that all his activities, whether it's pleasing Ram or not, he's displaying a big action there. So King Bharat says, no, he did not thought that way. So then he understood that actually all his activity will not be any valuable unless it is pleasing Ram. So then he asked Ram that, will this please what I am doing? Then Lord Ram says, no, I am going to stay here. And yes, I accept you and you act on my behalf. And that's he became very happy when the full definition of love was expressed. So maybe what you say is after the fact of this incident that Bharat's love was compared to...
No, actually I understand your point, and I also read that. And you know what, just like Sukadeva Swami says in Bhagavatam, gopis became proud, Radharani became proud, Krishna left him, her. But actually we know, pride cannot enter Radharani. So there's explanation for that, what's happening. So similarly, in these pastimes of Supreme Lord, Krishna sometimes uses devotees to express the definitions of love. So Bharat is absolutely pure devotee, we all know. His love is unparalleled. But now Lord Ram is using him to help us understand what is love. Because at that time, so many people were there. Mother and armies and everybody was there. So Ram was working through Bharat at that point of time. Just like Krishna is working through Arjuna.
I see. To establish...
to establish it. That's what is happening. That's what is mentioned.
That's nice. Thank you.
Hare
Krishna. In hearing your class, I did have a slight disagreement with one of your premises. In the early part of your class, you emphasized that understanding Krishna's mind, Krishna's way of thinking. But everything, as I recall, there's some statement somewhere, maybe ones of which my brothers may know, where even a great soul cannot understand the mind of the Supreme Lord.
Yeah.
So, when the representative of the Supreme Lord appeared to what Srila Prabhupada I'm talking about, or Srila Bhaktivedanta, these kind of devotees, Prabhupada understood how to practice the art. He understood the science of Krishna consciousness, in other words, understanding Krishna, and the art of Krishna consciousness, how to serve Krishna from his spiritual master. It was the mind of his spiritual master by which he learned. And then, as far as we're concerned, I'm talking about disciples of Srila Prabhupada and others who follow. It's really, my understanding is that, and I understood this from Prabhupada's books, classes, everything, that really it's Krishna is so far beyond us. But Srila Prabhupada walked among us. He gave us hundreds and thousands of instructions about every detail of how to practice Krishna consciousness, how to push on the Sankirtan movement, so many things. Now, those things we can understand. And when we misunderstood them, he corrected us very quickly. So, I think it would be better, I should not say I think, but I've understood from Srila Prabhupada that it's much better. We have no understanding of Krishna's way of thinking.
Yeah.
But Prabhupada has tried by many instructions and activities to enable us to understand his way of thinking, the previous acharyas, and Lord Chaitanya's, and ultimately Krishna's way of thinking. I just want to very, very small. When it came to the translations, I studied the word for words quite a lot. I'm no expert in them, but you find a very great consistency in Srila Prabhupada's translations. Like up there, Mathura refers to Mathura, Maya is something about me, Chitta means thinking, Bhavena, love. I know a few, So that's very consistent, and I don't think there's anything that anybody can argue about it. I was getting the real, correct translations, and that's how he supported it.
Yeah, can I speak something on this? Most Prabhupada, general words, Prabhupada is translating like that. Most of the words is like that. But there are literally critics on Prabhupada books by scholars that, and I read a full book on that, and I was discussing in India, and they, many times, just like I mentioned here, Prabhupada gives the intent of that word. Many times he does that. But that's not wrong. That's the point I'm making. So if you have to argue with them, you have to explain them, what's happening there. So we explain, okay, fine. They also understand. Many scholars appreciate Prabhupada books. Definitely, we all know. But when it comes to academic field, they are very particular. Academic field is like that. They are very particular. Even slight here and there, they just argue. So I was arguing with one scholar, he was mentioning the same point. I told them, come on, And he was taking rare examples of Prabhupada, not just, 99% is okay, but what about 1%? And academic field is like that. Like I preach to scientists, and come on, if you do a small thing here and there, come on, why it's like that? So that's what I was arguing for that point. He takes the intent of the word, especially in his purports.
Well, I know we cannot convince every Sanskrit scholar in the world about this. That's one of the classes of people that never surrender to Krishna.
Mm-hmm.
Scholars, whether they're in our university teaching whatever they're teaching or Sanskrit. But as far as we're concerned, the devotees, we should understand that we should not have any doubt.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like if we listen to these scholars or, present their doubts, then we may get doubts about Prabhupada's, like, wow, is it the right? They probably gave us the real thing, Or is it something else? Well, those scholars don't know what they're talking about because they don't know Krishna. They may know Sanskrit.
So that's why I was giving explanation for that. If somebody says, we can always argue with them, Prabhupada was absolutely right. He did give a proper translation to that word, which they don't understand. They have no idea. Bhavavachak.
It's almost
It's up to you. I think they can always decide. I have no idea what's going on there.
Well, the other question here is, when we're asking questions, we have to make it concise and quickly. Because there's many other people might want to ask questions. Very nice class for you. Krishna says, I am not where Radha is, I am not in my Buddha. I am only where the devotees are. Can you explain that? And I have another one, but maybe a scientific one. But you want me to?
I'm there where devotees are. I'm not in Vaikuntha. Naam Tishtami Vaikuntha, no? Yeah.
What is?
On this, comment on this? Speak on this. Well, Krishna says, I'm there not in Vaikuntha, not in yogi's heart, and so and so. Naam Tishtami Vaikuntha yogi naam hridaya shiva. Yad gayanti mat bhakta tatra tishtami naradana. So Krishna says what the meaning of this verse, what I think is that I am not in those. Krishna specifically mentions Vaikuntha, where he is actually staying, where he is. He starts that place to help us understand I am not interested in Vaikuntha. I am not interested in yogis. That's the question of interest and not just staying. I am interested in the heart of devotees where my service lies. I am interested in service. And same is with devotees. Devotee says, we are interested in Vrindavan if there is no service. We are not even interested in Krishna if there is no service. So it goes back and forth. So Krishna is there, but he says, my mind is not here. My mind is not. Yeah, like that. Yeah. So that's the point. My mind is not there. My mind is there with my devotees.
Very nice class, Prabhu. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. And also, you're all senior disciples of Srila Prabhupada, so you can bless me so that I can keep on preaching and keep on glorifying Srila Prabhupada. Thank you for listening, all of you. Thank you.